Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. And today, along with the vast majority of crypto and money, we'll be discussing Ripple and XRP. And with that, I think we can begin. And let's kick things started with some fortified IO. It's safe to assume that everyone has heard the latest news by now. Just recently, Ripple made an offer to buy Fortress IO, a business that specializes in custody services, tokenization services, and other related sectors. In retrospect, it was a thrilling experience. We anticipated it with great anticipation. However, there were a few events that occurred before the purchase that we observed. Guess what happened to one of the largest ones? It was hacked. And if you're a business with an eye on enterprise and institutional use cases, saying all the right things and doing all the right things, but still can't guarantee the safety of your network, you can forget about enterprise and institutional adoption. This is a serious issue. You might be asking, Nick, why on earth you're bringing this up? Something extremely easy, right? We saw Brad address this on Twitter, where he explained that while Ripple will continue to be an investor in Fortress, the company has decided against completing an outright acquisition. The Fortress Group possesses an abundance of skill and has developed solutions that address genuine issues faced by consumers. Although this result is not what was expected, we remain committed to them and welcome the opportunity to continue our future collaboration with them. Others, however, saw this as bad news and began shorting XRP with comments like, "Look, Brad Garland's house is about to dump his XRP bag," and similar rubbish. Apart from this, they probably just abandoned the mission because the sum of money they had stored up was too large. It also suggests that the Fortress's infrastructure was not as safe as they claimed it to be. The group appears to be a complete amateur. I'm assuming you're familiar with Zach SPT, but if you aren't, that's fine, too. Well, this story I'm reading was posted on Twitter by Ben Smart, and in it we see Zach retorting, "That last line is unbelievable. Scott Purcell was able to misappropriate his client's money twice." Snort with glee. As you can see from his Sour Grapes tweets, Mike Belt has chosen to violate our NDA to essentially gripe about me not selling the trust company to him. Just Trust CEO Rick Purcell told Fortune that Baico had also been in the hunt to acquire his company. Extremely fascinating. And so, I guess what I'm saying is, listen, let's be extremely keen to look at what's happening here. If I'm being totally honest, I just think it's better for Ripples if they don't get Fortress Trust. And I, for one, am thrilled by this report. As I recall, this story was published earlier this month, about the same time that we first heard Ripple discuss the acquisition in passing. And it made me a little uneasy, because you can't have, billions, tens of billions, or even possibly hundreds of billions, and in the trillions, when you're talking about something as large as Fortress, right? Where you actually have institutional grade and enterprise grade custody services, tokenization services. Large-scale institutional adoption will not be possible on a vulnerable platform in the long run. You simply cannot. Right. This really bothered me the first time I saw it. That's why I'm relieved to hear this news. All the fear, uncertainty, and doubt surrounding this is making me laugh. Please share your thoughts in the section below. But this BIS announcement is what I do want to discuss with you, and I'm looking forward to doing so. So, the Monetary Authority of Singapore was meant to be labeled, but they forgot. Thankfully, they've since made the necessary correction. The Singaporean government's monetary agency. To facilitate spot FX transactions, the Project Marina, or Mariana, piloted automated market makers, or MEMS, that drew liquidity from fictitious Swiss franc, euro, and Singapore dollar wholesale CBCs using cutting-edge algorithmic frameworks. When we dig deeper, though, things become really intriguing. First and foremost, we do see successful testing of cross-border wholesale CVCS by programs like Mariana and the IAS, as well as by the central banks of France, Singapore, and Switzerland. It is now the 28th, and this just happened. Hypothetical euros, Singapore dollars, and Swiss francs were traded and settled across international borders to test out the wholesale C policies. A new generation of financial market infrastructures may be built on the tested DeFi parts of this project, especially automated market makers. We'll get to the reasons why this is so intriguing in a minute. I do have a few things to cover first, though. This is a comprehensive guide to the procedure. The project's proof-of-concept POC test of international trading and settlement for fictitious euro, Singaporean dollar, and Swiss franc wrap CBDCs has recently been completed. Bridges for the frictionless transfer of wrap CBDCs between networks, an automated market maker, a specific type of decentralized exchange, and a common technical token standard provided by a public blockchain were all necessary for the process to work between the simulated financial institutions. Automatically. Excitingly so. In addition, it is mentioned that the next generation of financial market infrastructures may leverage these protocols to make international trade and settlement more convenient. You can tell this is significant. Tokenization and DeFi are two relatively new technologies that are still in their infancy. The BIS Innovation Hub and its global partners will keep investigating the advantages and disadvantages of these methods based on real-world use cases. The more we examine this, the more intriguing it becomes. And the reason I find it so fascinating is because automated market makers are finally being discussed. And we're talking about CBDCs and BTCs here, right? That's how wholesale transactions are settled and international funds are transferred. Back in May, we learned that the Ripple platform would allow national central banks to create their own CBDCs. Even here, it is mentioned that this will make the settlement process much easier. Furthermore, you can view everything around this by reading their article breakdown on Ripple's overall version of the CDC platform, which enables them to manage the complete lifetime, including the connection of CBDCs. The issue of settlement is likewise of paramount importance. Furthermore, Ripple has a video outlining liquidity in their digital currency for central banks section of their website. Outside of that, XRP is mentioned about the halfway mark, so feel free to check it out if you're interested. However, back in August, Ripple joined the BIS with their cross-border payments task force. I know I've mentioned this before, but it bears repeating. Thanks to the BIS and all the developments surrounding it, we've entered the next generation of payment technology. It appears that the DeFi DLT blockchain is connected here with the BIS outside of this, right, like going all the way back to November of 2022, so I think that right now everyone should be focusing heavily on what they are trying to do, what they are trying to accomplish, and the technology that they are tapping into. Since it happened in 2022, in November, most people didn't notice. Here is where we saw the official announcement of the BIS's Project Mariana, in which the BIS and the central banks of France, Singapore, and Switzerland will investigate CBDC trade and settlement across international borders utilizing the circumvent protocols. Exploring the international wholesale trade of services is the first step in incorporating rehabilitation facilities into the next generation of financial infrastructure projects that will use DeFi protocols to automate foreign exchange markets and settlement. Now, as I indicated before, the foundation they are constructing upon is the main reason I am so enthusiastic about this. The MEMS at the Force Center are the icing on the cake. Furthermore, as we can see, they noted that the initiative makes use of established protocols to automate foreign exchange markets and settlement, which might lead to enhanced cross-border payments and support a priority of the Group of 20. Built on public blockchains, smart contract protocols automate marketplaces for cryptocurrencies and digital assets, and the G20 is currently focusing intensively on crypto laws. Similar to how Amen protocols used pooled liquidity and novel algorithms to fix prices between two or more tokenized assets, ANM protocols may one day form the backbone of the next generation of financial infrastructures that allow for the international trade of CBDCs. As of this writing, it is November of 2020. The 11th of August, then. These are some of the latest and greatest technical enhancements to the XRP Ledger's automated market maker, as reported by RippleX Dev. The XLS30D spec, introduced by Ripple X last year, has the potential to revolutionize the XRP ledger. Come with me as I explore the developments and prospects. We can observe that the XLS30D spec suggests a protocol-native AM that communicates with the XRP ledger's orderbook-based decentralized exchange. It was released to the development network in November of 2020. To be precise, it will be November of 2022. Excitingly so. Now, hundreds of the holes were made to try out the features, and now many different accounts are making use of them to trade assets on the test network. There will soon be a vote on a new amendment to add XLS30D to the XRP ledger mainnet, although there hasn't been much of a vote on this issue so far. So far, the AMM has received exactly 0 votes. What will happen with the AMM remains to be seen at this time. However, I think this will be approved. The stakes are high here. If and when this is passed, it will be the most exciting addition to the XRP ledger mainnet, so says David Schwartz. Now, as well as below, we can see that 80% validator agreement is required for the modification to succeed. This agreement must be maintained for 2 weeks before the XLS30D is deployed to the mainnet, and the floor is opened for community feedback in the form of bug reports and proposed improvements. Being solid at the center is crucial. They do provide an explanation of how XLS30D can be used to include AMM into trading and liquidity interfaces. Liquidity providers can use the innovative auction process to cut down on temporary losses for traders through more streamlined transaction routing. Single-sided or two-sided liquidity provisioning from the AMM pool ensures that non-financial apps always receive the best possible exchange rate when making asset swaps within the app or at checkout. And I think we're seeing that confirmed by the BIS with projects like Mariana, which is exciting because I've been telling you for a while that these projects are essential to the BIS's overall study bases on this type of technology and how to implement it. And by the way, big shout out to Mickey B. Fresh as well, Mr. Fresh Time, because he outlined how the AMM liquidity pool is going to be a game changer around XRP and how it is unleashing a wealth machine via direct primary market liquidity on the XRP ledger, which includes Index Club HIM execution engine Amen polls. In this instance, we see that even David Schwartz agrees that this technological triumvirate is unparalleled in its ingenuity in addressing the age-old liquidity question. According to this video, significant work is being done to incorporate the on-demand liquidity flow of Ripple nets into the decentralized exchange, and Amen's Prisma on-demand liquidity volume equals relentless demand for XRP liquidity in Amen polls, making the XRP ledger or the XRP DeFi ecosystem a genuine wealth machine. Began an intensive campaign to incorporate DEX into ODSL. We have begun an intensive campaign to mainstream ODSL users' adoption of DEX. And that would include engaging in business with AM. A terrific stable coin, like the US dollar or the euro, is something we really need on the XRP ledger in order to make this a reality. Using the DEX would be more convenient if we had really excellent stable coins and the major currencies, but we don't. It's why we're crossing our fingers for it to occur as well. That was within striking distance. 2.5 years ago, when the SEC filed suit against us, we were on the verge of closing a deal I had long anticipated. That pretty much sank the deal, too. We are now in discussions with banks and other significant financial organizations in an effort to persuade them to issue some premium stable coins, but time will tell if these talks are fruitful. What's the big deal here? Massive props to Mickey B. Fresh for that video. You can find them on YouTube and Twitter, so why not? But as we examine Prisma, I do provide some background on this as well. Changes the game significantly. It's a really big one. And it's great to see David Schwartz admitting that the company had ambitious plans even before the SEC lawsuit was filed. We're grateful for that development because it gave us a chance to stock up on XRP, and things are finally starting to heat up with all these important talks with central banks. The BIS and the Cross-Border Payment Center are 2 examples of the kinds of large organizations that Ripple seems to be connecting. The HMM is the most important factor, as we can see in these films. However, your vision extends beyond the bounds of these Amen. Results from the polls reveal a plethora of opportunities to amass profit, including harvesting volatility through AMM trading methods, LP tokens, and swap fees, increasing yield for LPS liquidity pools, and increasing yield for XRP holders. The XRP Ledger MLP tokens are high premium collateral that gives liquidity providers, making this a very exciting time in the industry. Your assets are always redeemable, monopolistic middlemen and rent-seeking whales have no sway over you. The XLS30DMM acts as a safety net in the event of a crypto storm, and I for one couldn't be more thrilled about the prospect of its eventual passage. Seriously, you guys, this is going to be unlike anything else. Liquidity is the backbone of every financial market, but on-chain liquidity is what the DeFi ecosystem around Amen polls really needs to thrive. With Nextcloud plus XRP holders have access to deep pools of liquidity for both lending and borrowing. And yes, hear me out, this is where you can literally become your own bank, lend out your XRP, and gain access to truly astounding opportunities to build riches. It's thrilling, you know. And we really do hope that this does get passed, at least from an XRP holder standpoint. Because there's really nothing too alarming about this, unless you're going to be a yield provider, in which case there is risk involved, clearly. But other than that, I think this will be very beneficial for the entire ledger and also XRP as well, and really kind of create a lot more demand for XRP as a token, and other than that, it builds upon what we have been seeing around a lot of these major projects from some of the elite organizations like the BIS. So with that said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one, bye.